All right, so my name's Jim Philov, folks. I'm the general manager of a company called Gastech. We are a West Australian gas detection manufacturer. We've assembled the nation's leading experts, okay, in their fields, and they are sharing their knowledge with you today. So this is an absolute treat. Our first session has some very esteemed speakers. We've got Scott Barber, CEO of the Working Heights Association. Maddie Campbell's back on the stage. He's the Principal Advisor for Emergency Management at Rio Tinto. And then we have John Marshall from ERGT. I guess the first open question is, what challenges arise when integrating new technologies into existing tactical response frameworks in the resources sector?
Around how much is it going to cost? Great idea, how much? The next thing is about, or how we do it, is we test it in isolation. So it's like a pilot, and we're very fortunate to have 16 operations across the Pilbara, so we normally pilot technology on one particular...
John, do we think immersive training will find its way into the home of emergency responders to increase training uptake?
I think that's a really good question, and I think the technology is there.
Do we think we'll ever find a time where that human element can be removed, or it's basically going to be impossible to replace gut feel and human involvement?
Practical training is the most critical factor.
Areas of opportunities like with NCOP and actually talk about and see how we can make it as an industry a practice, as opposed to just individuals playing on the outskirts.
I think, Matt, you nailed it before when you said nail it and scale it. And how do we go about identifying who our early adopters or our innovators are on a site?
They're the ones coming to you asking for money for their idea. So I think, we all know who our early adopters are in our organisation. I think it's a bit lend itself really.
We've got David Gomez, technical consultant from Goldfields, from Gastech and the Goldfields. Dr. Greg Henry, the district officer for special projects from DFES. We've got Chris Whalen, acting senior station officer, heavy rescue, fire and rescue Victoria. And Brendan Sinmar, our acting senior station officer, also heavy rescue.
One of our major manufacturers of sensors actually conducted an extended test on a number of batteries from a couple of key electronics manufacturers. And what they saw, before this battery goes into that stage of thermal runaway, that stage of propagation, we saw a very small window of opportunity to see this gap.
Good morning all. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about large volume space firefighting. I find it a fascinating topic. It's probably one that hasn't got enough interest over the last decades or so throughout Australia and across and around the world, or big box fires as the colloquial term is.
Second system down the bottom, 2 external shores, over the side of the casualty, straight into the wheel assembly, lifted, rescued. No one's committed under the vehicle at all for that. It's just a quick, effective external shore setup.
Scene management changes. We went from that really prescriptive list of do this and then do that and do the next thing to a simple access, release, extricate. That is our road crash rescue mantra. That is what we work from.
How can cross-sector collaborations be leveraged to develop comprehensive and adaptable response strategies that effectively address emerging risks and hazards in resource operations?
I'm happy to have a crack.
Go for it, yeah.
I think for anyone that was able to watch Josh Caddy's presentation yesterday on the relationships that he's building in the remote areas in the mining sector, if you can build those relationships and have those MOUs and those types of arrangements with your cross-sector counterparts, ultimately you build a capability that extends beyond what your organisation's done.
That's absolutely critical, particularly in a state the size of Western Australia. We've got an expansive area out there. There's remote mine sites. No one can do a lot of these things alone. You're going to need help for the most part. So developing MOUs and relationships is critical.
I guess from my perspective, is especially operating a very narrow field, you kind of have to know what you don't know. You have to raise questions when you're not confident on something, and sometimes you just have to go to the experts. It's fine to say, hey, we don't have a solution for this at the moment, and reaching out.
Talking heavy vehicles, so we're obviously seeing a big emergence now of electrified heavy vehicles, mining fleets, all those sorts of things. how much effort and consideration is going into the understanding of their load orientations and positioning based on, you know, how significant battery weights are and where they're positioned in the vehicle design?
Yeah, good question. So definitely with in the ones that we've seen that I've come across personally in the mining industry, like remove systems. So they're in replace of where the same thing during the presentation. The stuff is still designed and engineered to not fall over, to not roll over. It has a super low center of gravity.
Thank you very, very much. It has been an absolute pleasure having you up here. Give a round of applause, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.